Hi guys, Lemmy here. Welcome back to another art video. Today we are going to be doing a review of the Sakura Pigma Micron pens and also the Sakura Pigma Professional Brush Pen Set. Now, I got super excited when I got these, so I kind of just ripped them out really quick, but I will include the pictures to before I rip them apart, but I got really excited, so I kind of did, but I saved the information so I could read it to you, so my apologies. So first we're going to look at the Professional Brush Pen Set, and I was really excited about these. I want to say that I love brush pens because you get a lot of excitement from the line work. Like you can see here that depending how hard you press, you can get thicker lines, thinner lines, and just brush tips are really cool when it comes to inking, though they can be more challenging to actually use. But I was excited to get these because you have a fine brush tip and a medium brush tip and it says B, so I'm like bold, big, I don't know, the bigger brush tip, bolder brush tip, I don't know what it's supposed to be, but I absolutely cannot wait to use these because they come in 3 different sizes. So I'm just really excited about this product. This was the first thing I ripped open when I got both of them. So I'm going to read a little bit about the brush tips first. They are flexible artist brush, excellent bounce, which means that they should snap back to their original shape after you lift from the paper. Easily achieve thin and thick brush strokes, smooth ink flow. Archival Pigma ink is waterproof and fade resistant on fine papers. So that's important because archival means like you can archive it and you can keep it for a long period of time. It is waterproof, so if you want to watercolor after laying down the ink, after you let it sit and soak into the paper, it becomes waterproof and it won't smudge. And fade resistant because it will stay over time. It's archival. So it's kind of like everything you want in a brush pen, and you get 3 different sizes, so that's fun. Black Pigma ink, archival quality, waterproof, yep, same thing on here. I saved it just in case, I guess. I was like, I don't know what's the difference, but we'll see. So I will be inking a picture using these 3 pens, and then I will be inking a picture using this set of pens, which there are 8 pens. And I have used Microns before, and I absolutely love them, and I recommend them for beginner artists as well as intermediate artists and professional artists. They are just an all-around affordable and great pen for inking your line work. And what's really nice about this set is that they come in so many different sizes. So the smallest you get is a .00 or 005, which is 0.2 millimeters, and you can see like just how fine that is. Like you can, I don't even know if you can see it, but it is really tiny, and this is great for doing details like eyelashes, eyes, nose, mouth, things you really don't want to mess up on and you want to put a lot of fine details into. So it comes in that size. 01, which is 0.25 millimeters. This is what I use when I want to do like the face or like very tiny hairlines or something like that, like bangs. And then it also comes in 02 and 03, so that is 0.3 millimeters and 0.35 millimeters. This is basically the sizes that I use for most of my drawings, so like clothing, as in like the line work in the clothing with the folds, it's really great for. And other details like the rest of the hair. Now the 05 and the 08, these are kind of like for long, large lines, like that don't have as much detail because they are much thicker. So generally for a picture, the the thickest line I will make will be a 0.5, which is a 0.45 millimeter. It is pretty thick, but I will use it to kind of have some more bold lines in less detailed areas. The 0.8 is good too if you're drawing really large. Then this would be your boldest line if you have a really large picture. And then these are neat. This is the graphic 1 and the brush. So 1 is well, I guess it's not, they didn't write down, but it's a much larger kind of tip. And this is really great for kind of coloring in black areas. So if I have a area underneath the neck that needs a completely black area, I will color it using that, or a shadow or something like that, and you get a lot of control with this. And this is the brush tip, which is very nice indeed. And that is similar to the brushes we have here. So I'm going to show off, actually, before we go any further, what the tips of these look like. You can see it's very, very thin, fine, comes to a nice tip. This one is thicker, bigger tip, comes to a nice point. And then this is the really large one. Ooh, this one's really neat. This one's like a slightly different shape, and it's bigger. This one actually looks like a brush that you would paint with, which is cool. So I'm excited to use these. As you can see, I'm already getting like ink on my hands. I'm like, yeah, ink. This is great. So for the microns, we're going to read what they say here. Archival quality ink is waterproof, chemical resistant, fade resistant, bleed free, quick drying, and pH neutral. Ideal for sketching, inking, illustration, and Zentangle. Zentangles are kind of like those things that I'm just gonna, like, I guess, grab a pen here. A non-professional one. They're kind of like you draw like a shape and then you make like little things in there, and like it gets bigger, and then there's like more like doodly things, and that's kind of what a Zentangle looks like. This kind of looks like a deformed pizza, but you get the point. So I guess what they're trying to say is that it's ideal for something like that because you can get so many details in with such different sized lines. So you can get really nice Zentangle drawings. These are great pens. I've used them before, and I will show you a picture using just the microns and a picture using just the professional brushes that they sell. So let's get started. So first up, I am drawing my character as, and I am using the Pigma Professional Brush Pens. The first thing I noticed is that the tips of each of the brushes have different consistencies. So the smallest, which is the FB, has a stiffer feel to it than the largest, or the BB, does. And I have some information here, and it actually says that the nibs are all made of different materials. So the FB is a tough, porous polyethylene material. The MB is a tough nylon material, and the BB is a tough plastic polyacetal material. I probably didn't say that right, but the tips are made out of different materials, so it gives them a different feel. Now the FB is stiffer, but it also gives you so much more control, and that's what you really want for a fine tip whenever you're putting in the details. The MB is a little bit less stiff, and it's kind of more of a traditional brush feel. So if you have the Micron brush pen, it's more similar to that. And the BB is kind of like a larger, more like a traditional brush kind of tip. And I'm not talking about a brush pen, but just like a brush that you paint with. It's kind of like more that size. And I would say that it is the kind of like loosest, or like not the toughest, but the most flexible, I guess I would say. So using the 3 different brushes, I was able to get all the details that I wanted into my picture. And it was really easy to do because it came with the fine points and the medium points and the bold points. So I definitely recommend these. I really, really, really love them. Like, I was so happy when I got these and I used them, and it was just really a pleasure to work with them. And I would say that they're really good for beginners that have never used a brush tip before, because you have the 3 different kinds. You can kind of get a feel for which one you would like in which situation, and you're not just stuck with that one brush pen that you have to do all the details and all the shading with. I personally much rather use these brush pens than the Micron brush pen, or any other brush pen by any other company that I've tried out so far. I really like the set of 3 different sizes, and I think that it's fantastic. I love it. I wish I had these before, because I would have done so many more pictures with them, but I've already done the line art with other liners, so it's unfortunate that I didn't get it sooner. And I'm just going to read a little bit about how Sakura describes these. So, from superfine hairless to big, bold strokes, the new Pigma Professional Brush Series offers the ultimate in versatility. These these durable brush nibs respond to instant changes in pressure or direction with a silky smooth, accurate, and consistent ink flow. The deep black, archival quality Pigma ink ensures that the mark will last a lifetime. Artists who prefer brushes will appreciate the flexibility of a portable brush with continual ink flow, avoiding the need to dip the brush and carry messy inks. Manga and comic artists, illustrators, and lettering art professionals will enjoy the expressiveness of thick to thin strokes with ease and fluidity. The brush nibs were specially developed to provide fantastic bounce and memory over long periods of use. So the Pigma brush series features, and then it has some bullet points. Archival quality Pigma ink, chemically stable, waterproof, and fade resistant. No smears, feathers, or bleed through on most papers, which I will say that it did not smear, it did not feather, and it did not bleed when I used it. But if you're going to use the bold one, which is the largest one, you want to be careful that you're not just working with because when it's hotter out, your hand gets kind of oily. So you don't want to just smear your hand around on your paper, because not only does it ruin the paper, it also might smear your ink and stuff like that. So you should just be careful in general when using any liner not to just smear stuff around. But on its own, it did all these things where it doesn't smear, it doesn't feather, it doesn't bleed. And I was very happy with it. I guess if you really had a gross hand, you could get it to smear, but I wouldn't recommend trying that. Consistent ink delivery to the brush sides and tip, that's true. I had a great flow of ink. It never dried up or didn't do what it was supposed to, and it was like a really consistent, thick application of dark ink. So flexible nib for thin and thick brush strokes, which is true. So yeah, I absolutely loved it, and yeah, I have nothing bad to say about it. I totally recommend it, especially if you want to get into using different kinds of brushes and you're thinking about using a brush tip. This would definitely be the set that I would choose to recommend to you guys to go out and buy. So yeah, I love it. I'm very happy with that. Alright, so moving on, now we're going to use the set of microns that I went over earlier. Now this set is pretty large. It has a 005, 01, 02, 03, 05, 08, and it also has a graphic 1 and a Pigma brush. So this set was really large. If you get the set, this is pretty much all you'll really need to get started if you're trying to line your artwork. So this set, I think, has all the really important sizes that you'll need in it. You always want a really fine tip in case you want to do something like eyelashes, like I said earlier, so that's the 005. And I really love the 01, 02, 03. Those are kind of like my go-to sizes. And then the 05 and 08 are larger in case you need to have some thick lines here and there. And then there's also the Pigma Graphic, which is really fun. I like the size of it, and I like the bullet tip that it comes with. And then there's also the Pigma brush, which is great on its own, but personally I would recommend that you get the professional set of brush pens, the 3 pens with the fine point, medium point, and the bold point. Because if you really want to, I guess you could try the brush and see if you like it, but there's such a difference between the Pigma, the Micron Pigma brush or whatever, than the actual professional brush set that I really would recommend that if it's something you're interested in, to go out and get the set of 3 as opposed to just trying out the one with the set of microns that you get. So I'm going to read a little bit of the information that I have here. It is: ink invented by Sakura over 30 years ago continues to be the most reliable permanent ink on the market today. Pigma easily outlasts and outperforms competitors which have tried to duplicate this ink technology. Having such a long history with the specialized ink, Sakura has been able to consistently improve on their formula, resulting in the smoothest flow, the most pleasant colors, stable pigments, and practical writing instruments. Pigma has become the standard for what is defined as permanent ink, relied upon by those whose jobs depend on records that stand the test of time. The properties of Pigma ink create magic on paper for millions of users. So it says here, originally invented as a drafting tool, Pigma ink is now used in a variety of applications and has numerous pen styles, colors, and nib sizes. Whenever users value quality ink and preservation, Pigma is the ink of choice. And then it says, Pigma Micron pens come in 6 point sizes to create precise lines. For work or for play, Pigma Micron pens are loyally used by designers, scientists, archivists, architects, manga artists, cartoonists, illustrators, scrapbookers, and craft hobbyists. Whether signing a contract or check, Pigma ink provides a safe, permanent record. So, yeah, I have nothing bad to say about these. I've used them when I first started actually drawing manga a long time ago, and I started off with the Microns and also the Prismacolor pens, which personally I really don't like. I don't like the Prismacolor pens at all. They were a waste of money, but when I first got the Microns, I could tell that there was like this large difference. The lines were much cleaner. They didn't smudge like the Prismacolors did, and they just looked more striking and more bold and blacker than the Prismacolors did. And over time, all these pictures that I've made years and years ago, they're still bright and bold. They haven't faded over time. So I know for a fact that these are very good pens, and I love using them. Like, they feel really nice when you're applying. It doesn't bleed, it doesn't look scratchy. It gives you a nice clean line. And with all the different sizes, those are the sizes that you're going to need. And I mean, I love them, so I have nothing bad to say about these pens. I really recommend them for a beginner, intermediate artist, or a professional artist. They're just really great pens, and I mean, I've been using them over the years, and I really can't even think of anything negative to say or anything that I was ever unhappy about. So yeah, they're definitely recommended. Like I said, I have been using these a long time, but with the brush set, the 3 brushes in the previous picture that we made together, I've never used those before, and I am totally in love with those. So those are much recommended. These are much recommended. I'm very happy with these products that I'm reviewing today. If you have any questions, you can ask them below. In the description, I will include links to the Sakura website if you're interested in looking at it or checking it out. It has additional information on there, and also other products that Sakura has made that you might want to look through and check out. So yeah, thanks for watching my review. I hope that you guys found it helpful, or at least you can kind of see the difference between the 2 kinds of pens and the different effects that you can get where the microns you can get so much control and have like these perfect lines and all different sizes, and it's just very precise. And then the brush gives you this nice bold feel where the lines have like expression, and it's just a lot of fun. So I recommend both sets. And yeah, next week I'll have another video. I'm going to try to get another Sakura review in, and we'll see if I'll be able to do that. I might do a review of their watercolors, which is also something I used in my childhood a lot that I love. So yeah, have a great week, you guys, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Okay, bye!